In the spring of 2023, in the Texas wilderness, on the edge of the Big Thicket National Forest, it was hot. Workers were clearing out junk at an abandoned apiary that had recently been bought by a new owner. Among the rusty barrels and rotten boards stood an old BEEHIVE box, heavy, made of thick wood, and tightly locked. It was too heavy for an empty box. When the lid was finally pried off with a crowbar, it was not beeswax inside, but a monolithic block of gray cement, and sticking out of the cement was a human bone. The police arrived on the scene and worked for several hours breaking up the concrete. Inside was a skeleton. The hands were bound with plastic ties. Some of the bones were charred. 6 years ago, a tourist disappeared in these same swamps. They searched for him for weeks, but found no trace. Now it was clear that he had never left this place. His end was cruel and strange, and this discovery was only the beginning of a story whose ending turned out to be even more unexpected. In 2017, Matt Gibson was 38 years old. He lived an ordinary life, working as a system administrator, but his real passion was photography. Not weddings or portraits, but wildlife. He could sit in ambush for hours to catch a rare bird or deer at dawn with his camera. The Big Thicket National Forest was his favorite place. It was a vast area of forests and swamps where he could be alone with nature. That Friday, as usual, he packed his backpack, grabbed his expensive camera, and drove to the forest. He called his sister and told her he planned to spend the night on the edge of the marshes in an area the locals called Snake Island, and that he would be back on Sunday evening. He was an experienced hiker, knew the area well, and always kept in touch. But on Sunday, he didn't call. On Monday, his phone was turned off. At first, his family didn't panic. Cell service is poor in the reserve. But when he didn't show up for work on Tuesday, it became clear that something had happened. The police found his car that same day. The old pickup truck was parked on the side of a dirt road at the entrance to one of the trails. The doors were locked. Everything inside was in its place. The navigation system, a pack of cigarettes on the dashboard. In the back, there was his backpack with a tent and a sleeping bag, as well as a case with a camera and several lenses. The equipment was worth several $1,000s. If it had been a robbery, the camera would have been taken first, but it was still there. Only his wallet and phone were missing. That was the first thing that didn't add up. A robber who ignores expensive equipment but takes an old wallet? Strange. A large-scale search operation began. Dozens of rangers, police officers, and volunteers combed the forest. They were joined by dog handlers with dogs. A helicopter circled over the swamps, trying to make out anything among the dense tree canopy. Big Thicket is not a park for walking. It's almost 1 million acres of wild, tangled terrain. Swamps that can suck a person in, poisonous snakes, and alligators. If a person goes missing here, they have little chance of survival. The first few days were spent searching based on the assumption that it was an accident. Maybe Matt had strayed from the trail, twisted his ankle, and couldn't get out. Or perhaps he had been bitten by a snake. The dogs picked up the scent from the car but lost it about a mile away at a fork in the trail.